Students make demands urging action on the climate emergency.
And one of Georgia State's top donors is indicted on federal charges. All that and more on Panther Report News. Hello, and welcome to Panther Report News. I'm Cherie Pruitt.
And I'm Tyreek Wing. The Georgia State University Police Department is searching for a man suspected of public indecency at the University Commons. Early Wednesday morning, officers responded to a call about a man doing obscene gestures at the courtyard of Building A. When officers arrived, they were unable to find the man. Another call was made from a student at a community room who reported that a man stared at her for 3 minutes and then later pleasured himself. When officers responded, the man was unable to be found. The department has now issued a Be on the Lookout poster with the suspect's photo from surveillance footage.
Eventually he started pacing around me, which gave me another sign to not leave the room. So, probably like 3 minutes later, he ended up leaving. So I hurried and packed my stuff up, and he proceeded to do what he was doing outside of the community room as well. If this is in the efforts to bring awareness about safety to other people, I will talk about it. For my mental health though, like I'm working on myself not to replay this situation in my head and move forward from it. But if other people are learning from me, and the university can take this and they can take it to their meetings and actually learn something from this, I'm willing to talk about it to anyone.
As temperatures cool, members of the Atlanta community come together to raise money for a local homeless shelter. And a Georgia State student is helping lead that charge. We turn now to PRN's Keelan Berrien for more.
On an average day, it's normal for Georgia State students to see homeless individuals asleep or around the perimeter of Woodruff Park, even during the colder months of the year. But one Georgia State student is over just watching.
Homelessness has always had my heart in a sense, when it's like where I want to do something about it.
At the start of October, Antoine Manning began a GoFundMe titled Breaking the Silence to give a voice to the issue of homelessness in Atlanta. Manning hopes to raise $1,000 for a local homeless shelter dedicated to serving those affected.
Around the first week, we got about like $400, $400 or $500. With the money, it's going to be donated to a homeless shelter. Since it's getting cold, I want to give out hoodies and clothes, and that in itself takes a lot of planning and preparation, so I'm just trying to figure that out and flesh it out right now.
Now Manning has raised $750 with over 50 donors to the campaign.
Everybody was like really ecstatic and excited about it. When I posted it, it got a lot of support. Just even seeing that in itself, it shows that we all want to make change. We're just too wrapped up in our own lives to do so.
Manning is still actively looking for donations, and you can visit GoFundMe.com/SilenceBeGone.
We walk around the city every day, and no matter where you're going, whether it's class or back to your dorm or to your car, you see the homeless population on the streets. And hopefully that could just inspire other people to do the same.
Keelan Berrien, PRN.
Today, students are taking over the Georgia State Capitol for the Atlanta climate strike. The strike, organized by Atlanta for the Planet, aims to urge officials to take action in the climate emergency.
Because this isn't a political issue, it can't be. You know, the science is real and it's proven that climate change is a problem. So if anything, this should be a moral issue. And that's what we're trying to make a point here. You know, us as kids in high school and college, we're sacrificing our education to come here today out in the grounds of the Georgia legislature.
And this week, over 25,000 people met in Madrid for the COP25 Climate Change Conference. There, the World Meteorologist Organization issued its annual State of the Global Climate Report. The report says that 2019 ends a decade of exceptional global heat, melting ice, and record sea levels.
And now we turn to Dominic Shirosky for the latest on one frequent Georgia State donor and the rest of university sports. Dominic?
How's it going, everyone? I'm Dominic Shirosky, and welcome to Primetime. That's right, Tyreek. Georgia State booster and Georgia State Stadium Field namesake Parker Petit has been federally indicted. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York announced that the former COO of the Marietta-based MyMedics Group has been indicted on accounting fraud. In a written statement, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said Parker Petit and William Taylor deceived the SEC, auditors, and the investing public by repeatedly misrepresenting the financial condition of a publicly traded company. In a statement to the Wall Street Journal, Petit's lawyers say that Mr. Petit denies the charges leveled against him. Parker Petit has been an avid booster for both Georgia State as well as Georgia Tech. In 2010, Petit donated $1.5 million to the Georgia State Athletic Department, the largest single donation ever received by the program at the time. In 2011, Petit donated $5 million toward the construction of the science complex that would eventually bear his name. And in 2017, he donated an additional $10 million to the athletic department after the purchase of the Turner Field property from the Atlanta Braves. This past weekend, the Georgia State Panthers took a trip down to Statesboro to face rival Georgia Southern. The Panthers came out strong in the first quarter, but were unable to do much after. PRN's Christian Crittenden has more on why GSU was unable to match Georgia Southern.
Quarterback Dan Ellington lines up with Trey Barnett to his right. Ellington sends wide receiver Devin Gentry into motion. No one moves with him, so it shows Ellington that the defense is in zone. At the snap, Ellington gives the fake to Barnett and pulls it out, which sucks in the linebackers into the gap. That frees up the middle, where he fires a strike to wide receiver Cornelius McCoy. We jump ahead here to the third quarter, where the Panthers are trailing 24-7 and the Eagles are knocking on the door. Southern lines up in one of their several option formations, this time with 4 men in the backfield. Quarterback Shy Wertz motions the first man to the left and takes the snap. The first problem arises here for the Panthers when they aren't able to set the edge, and it forces linebacker Victor Hayward to take the quarterback instead of the first back out of the backfield. Hayward is able to deliver a shot to Wertz, but before he does, the quarterback pitches it to J.D. King, who just has one man to beat. It helps him that the linebacker here is out of position and takes a bad angle. King is able to shed the would-be tackle and waltzes into the end zone.
Man, Shy Wertz laid it all on the line. He risked it all, and J.D. King there to finish it off.
While the football season may be coming to a close, one Panther has cemented his legacy here at Georgia State. See why Trey Barnett will be forever immortalized in Panther history.
Like my senior year of high school, it was like the summer, before going to Georgia State. I was with my dad and I was telling him, I was like, man, I want to go to Georgia State. I want to break records. I want to be this. I want to be that. And everything I said, it happened.
Senior running back Trey Barnett came to Georgia State with the goal of being one of the best to ever put on a Panther uniform. After a senior season with over 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns, Barnett is the first Panther running back to be named first team All-Sunbelt.
I haven't really celebrated, but I was very thankful. I felt like I deserved it because during the off season I was really grinding. I don't really post my moves, but I feel like it was well deserved, and I felt like my hard work was finally starting to pay off.
Things haven't always been great for Barnett here at Georgia State. He had his doubts at times whether or not this was the place for him.
I didn't know. I didn't know how things were going to go. I had kind of my sophomore year, I didn't know, I had kind of hit rock bottom. And my mom, she was just, saying, keeping me up, just sending me positive, saying everything will be okay. Because I wasn't really playing my sophomore year, and she just kept me grounded and just say grind, just keep working, everything will fall in place.
With one more game left in his Georgia State career, Barnett has a final message for the Panther faithful.
I gave my all for this program, and I hope they remember me as legendary.
Christian Crittenden, PRN.
While you may know the Pete as home of the Georgia State Stadium, 16 high school teams are about to call it theirs for 60 minutes each. Reporter Anthony Patterson spoke with Mike Holmes about how and why the Georgia High School State Championship ended up in our own backyard.
For the first time in history, Georgia State Stadium will host the 2019 GHSA State Finals in football. For Associate Athletics Director Mike Holmes, he is excited about the opportunity to host this year's state finals.
We're excited about hosting the state championships. I think it's going to be 2 exciting and fun days for the best teams in the state of Georgia, and for them to come in here and for us to be able to show off our stadium, a stadium that's got so much history. Obviously it's only been Georgia State Stadium for a few years now, but as a stadium that's hosted the Olympics, that hosted the Atlanta Braves, that most of these young men grew up coming to, we think it'll create a great background and an environment over those 2 days.
Georgia State Stadium is only 3 years old and formerly known as Turner Field. For Holmes, he hopes fans have a great experience upon their arrival.
At the end of the day, obviously we want them to have a good time. We want them to see what Georgia State's about now, not maybe what the perception was 5, 10 years ago. I think there's a lot of students, a lot of parents, a lot of fans that have not been in here since the conversion 3 years ago. And I think when you come in here, even if you're a student who comes to your first football game as a freshman, you see what it's all about now, and you go, and it kind of changes your perception of that. To me, that's probably the most important thing.
Along with his excitement of hosting the football finals, Holmes is excited about other events hosted at Georgia State Stadium and future events as well.
I would say the same thing about other events. If we talked off camera about ESPN College Game Day, did some commercial stuff here back over the summer. All right, well, hopefully if they need the same thing next year, they want to come back, or any of the movies and film companies. Obviously, Atlanta has become kind of that Hollywood of the South. We've got a great venue that we can provide to them.
Anthony Patterson, PRN.
Someone else might be in Georgia State Stadium, but the season isn't finished just yet for the Panthers. With Georgia State's 7-5 record, the Panthers are bowl eligible for the second time in 3 years. However, the team will have to wait until this weekend to figure out their destination and opponent. ESPN predicts the Panthers will be heading to the Camilla Bowl or the Arizona Bowl, while Sports Illustrated sees GSU heading back to the Cure Bowl for the third time. At any rate, be sure to stay tuned to @GSUPRN on Twitter and Instagram for up-to-the-second coverage on the Panthers' bowl destination. Now let's talk basketball. Over the fall break, the Georgia State women's basketball team picked up their first win of the season with a 59-51 win over New Mexico State in the UTEP Thanksgiving Classic. The Panthers, however, did lose to the University of Texas at El Paso 68-71 in a last-second three-pointer by the Miners. The Panthers were led by Taylor Hosendove's combined 11 season highs between the two games, amounting to a combined 33 points and 2 double-doubles. The Georgia State men's basketball team has been on quite the win streak the past 2 weeks, winning 4 straight games. The Panthers topped off their road trip with wins over Prairie View and California Baptist to capture the 2K Empire Classic regional title. Upon their return home, Georgia State has won back-to-back games against UNC Charlotte and Dartmouth in overtime. Last Wednesday's matchup against UNC Charlotte was a coming-out party of sorts for sophomore guard Justin Roberts, who managed a season-high 4 three-pointers. 2 of those came in the final minute of play to push the Panthers into overtime. The other victory came with even more late-game heroics. Reporter Crystal White has the details.
This past Tuesday, the men's basketball team defeated Dartmouth College 83-80 in overtime. The Panthers had a very slow start in the beginning of the game. Coach Lanier explained why to the media.
Again, we knew they were going to be a good team, but it's like anything else. You can tell guys what it's going to be like, and then they get out there, and we're the more athletic team. We got more size and length. And I just think human nature, guys don't really have the same urgency and the same awareness and alertness that you need to have to play against a good opponent. And they came out and did what they do. And the next thing you know, they're up, and we're saying, we told you it was going to be like this.
Corey Allen had a stellar performance with a career high of 28 points. Allen scored seconds before the final buzzer in the second half. But the cheering from the fans and the players was short-lived when the ref changed the call to 2 points instead of 3. Junior Kane Williams and Coach Lanier told me what they thought of the call.
I think everybody in the gym thought it was a 3. I saw a few people leaving after it, but we were here to play, so it didn't matter if it kept going after regulation. We were just going to keep playing.
I wanted it to be. I was ready to shake hands and get out of there, to be honest with you. And the coach, he was pretty cool. He was like, Coach, I think it was a 2. We got 5 more minutes left. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, but we found a way to get the win.
Over time, the Panthers pulled out the win. They were 50% from the field.
It was intense. It was back and forth, just like the first 40. It was overtime, really. It was supposed to pick up the intensity. It's overtime. Everybody's trying to get the last bucket to win, go up, and finish it.
Crystal White, PRN.
After the game, reporter Christian Crittenden spoke with the buzzer-beating Corey Allen and forward Josh Linder.
After dropping 3 straight games, the Georgia State men's basketball team is riding a 4-game winning streak after defeating Dartmouth 83-80 in overtime. Redshirt junior Corey Allen continued his hot start to the season with 28 points in the game, bringing his season average to 17 to lead the Panthers in scoring.
My shot was just rolling from the beginning of the game. Well, I feel like I missed a couple shots at the beginning of the game, but I kept shooting the ball and it was rolling the rest of the game.
Despite the 4-game winning streak, forward Josh Linder thinks that the team still has plenty of room for growth.
Some good games. I think we just learned that execution is a big thing for us. You know, we've been trying to, we're still, you know, working on our execution. It's not all the way there yet. So, you know, I feel like people haven't even seen the best of our team, even though we have been on this little winning streak. But it's going to come. I think our execution is slowly coming together, and, yeah, we're going to be good.
Christian Crittenden, PRN.
The Panthers will face the Mercer Bears tomorrow in Macon. That's all we've got for you here on Primetime. We would like to wish everyone a happy holiday and good luck on your finals. We'll see you next semester. Now, back to you, Cherie.
Thank you, Dominic. Georgia State's student newspaper, The Signal, garners attention this week for calling on the relocation of Henry Grady's statue. In an editorial titled, "Mayor Bottoms, Tear Down This Statue," the newspaper points at Grady's role as a journalist, orator, and patriot as promoting racism. The editorial urges Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms to advocate for the change of a recently passed law making it difficult to remove or relocate monuments in the state.
I personally walk by the Henry Grady Monument every morning. I get off at the 5 Point Station, I walk to Adderhold, and that's what I see to my left. We've also been familiar with his troubling and sickening past, and so this actually has been in the works for months. We've just been writing it for the better half of a month.
Now it's almost 2 months after Georgia State's legendary homecoming, and Mr. and Mrs. Georgia State are still in disbelief of it all. Hillary Payne spoke with the Royal Court team about their experience and what they had in store.
It's been a month since Anaya Jones and J. Pierre Bowling faced the student body as the 2019 Mr. and Mrs. Georgia State University.
This is still it's very surreal.
Since their crowning, both had plans to fulfill their platforms. Jones seeks to relate to students on a deeper level.
My platform is RISE, which stands for Remain Indestructible, Seek Elevation. Being a first-generation student, Black, African-American, minority in general, you are going to deal with certain issues that many don't deal with, but at the same time, as a collegiate, holistically, everyone deals with trials.
And Bowling directs his platform to make students actively involved on campus.
So my platform is STARS, and it stands for students that are actively raising the standard.
Right.
And so with that platform, I definitely wanted to highlight to students that we're actually raising the standard here at Georgia State University.
But behind the crown, Bowling says the honor awarded him more responsibility.
Royal Court is actually a leadership position. Royal Court makes you an agent of the university, and I think that that's one thing that this Royal Court I'm actually excited about is doing. We're trying to continue to actively raise the standard.
And looking into the new year, students can expect more from the Royals on campus.
So we don't want to give too much away. However, the new year is rolling in, and we are rolling in with the new year as well. So, you know, Homecoming Court Reloaded coming soon.
Yeah, we will definitely be having a tour soon, so be on the lookout for that, all campuses. Get ready for the GSU Royal Court to come.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Hillary Payne, PRN.
Nguzo Saba.
What does that mean?
Nguzo Saba is the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. The African American Studies Department hosted their annual Kwanzaa celebration in the Rialto Center. The event highlighted these principles by celebrating family, community, and culture. The student performers were of Kilumbo Culture and Educational Institute and KIPP South Fulton Academy. Some Georgia State students and faculty says that the event is always fun to wrap up the semester.
And in my opinion, it's a way for us, again, to celebrate the end of the semester. You know, being a student at this time of year can be difficult, and this gives us a chance to reflect on a great semester and look forward to the future.
It looked fun. We're 2 weeks away from winter, but it's the most wonderful time of the year.
That's right, Cherie. And in the spirit of the holiday season, CNBC published 10 rules for gift giving. Now, looking at this chart, I gotta say, I really agree with rule number 3. So, you know, if you're ever stuck on what to get me for the holiday season, just give me some money, a gift card, and a billboard on all highways in Georgia.
I like rule number 7. A lot of people get wrapped up in receiving gifts, and it's the season of giving. Find joy in creating joy for someone else.
Yes, it's always better to give than to receive, and you can't forget your manners. And rule number 10 is always most important. Make sure you always say thank you.
Yes, thank you, Tyreek, for the reminder.
Why, you're so welcome, Sheree.
Well, that's our show.
Make sure you stay connected to Panther Report News throughout the week, and be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at GSUPRN.
Also, subscribe down below and let us know what you think about the show.
And tell us some of your favorite holiday traditions.
I'm Sheree Pruitt.
And I'm Tyreek Wayne, and we'll see you next semester. Happy holidays.